I don't care. I don't live with that.
Por la cadena SER esta misma tarde que Florentino Pérez, uno de los candidatos a la presidencia del Real Madrid, podría tener cerrado el fichaje de Luís Figo.
Before Barcelona, before the spectacle and the headlines, there was a boy from Lisbon who learned the language of football on cracked pitches and narrow streets. Luís Manuel Araújo Pinto de Oliveira, later simply Figo, moved through youth systems that demanded more than talent.
Pois Fox para o segundo posto. E golo! Falhanço! E o golo!
Figo.
Inaugurar Figo aos 28 minutos.
Those years shaped the player who could read defenders the way some people read faces. Sporting Lisbon was where the first professional chapter opened. He wasn't a prodigy who arrived fully formed. He worked, adapting his technique and his temperament. At Sporting, he learned to trust his instincts and to carry responsibility for the team's rhythm. Those lessons mattered when bigger clubs came knocking and when the weight of expectation pressed against his chest. Arriving at Barcelona, Figo didn't just change clubs. He became a cultural touchpoint. He moved into a dressing room that demanded identity as much as effort. He fit into systems with ease because he could interpret space the way a painter interprets light. Coaches appreciated his intelligence. Teammates appreciated his willingness to shoulder difficult moments. The badge on his chest became shorthand for a period of style and success at Camp Nou. But identity in football is porous. Players evolve, clubs change, managers leave, and the world around them rewrites the terms of belonging. The more successful a player becomes, the more attention he draws, and the less private his choices remain. Opportunities arrive wrapped in complexities. Contracts hide clauses that can rewrite a career overnight. For Figo, the move to Madrid arrived at the intersection of sport, ambition, and politics. Florentino Pérez's project at Real Madrid read like a manifesto. He promised a new model: global stars, global reach, and a global brand. The idea was seductive. It combined the glamour of star names with the cold arithmetic of sponsorships and TV deals. To make that idea credible, he needed a name that meant something to football fans everywhere. He chose Figo.
Que si yo soy presidente del Real Madrid, Luís Figo será jugador del Real Madrid.
When the transfer completed, it sent shockwaves through Spain and beyond.
Real Madrid podría tener cerrado el fichaje de Luís Figo.
Uno de los mejores futbolistas del mundo.
The fee shattered records, but those numbers only begin to explain the fallout. What followed was an eruption of emotion from supporters who felt that a promise had been broken. Those reactions were visceral and ugly at times, and they revealed how much people invest in symbols. A player is never just a player. He can be a proxy for identity, history, and collective memory. When a symbol changes colors, it can feel like a personal betrayal. The incident at the Camp Nou became shorthand for that betrayal. Images from that night, the shower of objects, the stunned faces on the pitch, the pig's head near the corner flag, entered stadium folklore. They were ugly images, but they were also honest ones. They showed how much one decision mattered to thousands of people who had trusted a man to stay a certain way. In that moment, football stopped being only sport and turned into social drama. For Figo himself, the consequences were complicated and long-lasting. The boos followed him. The media dissected his motives. Fans who once sang his name redirected their passion into anger.
I don't care. I don't live with that, so I live my life. I don't care. If I was caring about what the people say about me, I don't breathe. So I think the most important is that I was successful in both clubs, and my friends and family knows me. So after that, what the people can say is generic.
He navigated that environment with professionalism, refusing to let the external noise define his contribution on the pitch. He scored, he assisted, he shaped games, but the emotional toll should not be underestimated. Living as a public figure demands a resilience that goes beyond physical training. Living at the center of a storm requires a kind of armor that few outfits can provide. Beyond the immediate drama, the transfer prompted clubs across Europe to rethink strategy. Suddenly, building a team around marquee signings became a viable, even desirable plan. Clubs began to see players as brand assets as much as athletic contributors. The economics of the game shifted. Broadcast deals grew, sponsorships multiplied, and the face of football globalized. That shift brought riches to some and fractures to others. It also changed how supporters related to clubs. The local, community-centered identity of many teams was reframed by international markets and global audiences. Yet responsibility and humanity persisted in quieter corners. Over time, Figo's relationship with former fans softened in places. Some returned to appreciate his contributions on the field. Some never forgave. The memory of that night at Camp Nou remained a reference point, a litmus test for how loyalty and commerce collide in modern sport. In the years that followed, Figo's career took him to other stages. He moved on, as players must, and found ways to remain relevant and effective. His later years were marked by the same technical quality that singled him out in his youth and prime. If you close your eyes and picture the player, think of the touches that separated defenders, the flicks that created space, the composure under pressure. If you open your eyes and watch the footage, notice the crowd, the colors, the noise. Both images belong to the same story, and neither erases the other. That is the uneasy truth at the heart of this transfer, and the reason we keep returning to it. Luís Figo's chapter in football history is not finished. It lives in highlight reels and in oral histories, in boardrooms and in local bars. It lives in the younger players who study his runs and in the older fans who still shake their heads at the memory of that night. And because it is complicated, it stays interesting. Because it is human, it stays relevant. Because it changed the game, it stays necessary to tell.
Joven, ¡saluda al campeón! Joven, ¿no querrás participar en mi nuevo proyecto galáctico?
Jamás. Mi corazón es blaugrana. Por mí te puedes ir a la Madrid. A la Madrid.